let's see.
What makes you think I have any wisdom on at all?
Just keep talking, Professor.
I've just been around for a while, that's all.
Okay, so this question comes to us from Sujata from Bangalore, and she says, my question is relevant more from what I see in India than in the United States, so I'm not sure if it is an appropriate question, but here goes. And her question is, from one of the Chennai Sunday papers in a particular column, she's read this little piece from an author who comments. So she quotes two different defense service personnel who said the same thing about patriotism. Patriotism is not about bloodshed and wars. If there was a rule to be followed, I will. If there was a platform ticket to be bought, I will. If there is a tax to be paid, I will. There's a red signal, I will stop. I'll be a conscientious citizen just like anyone else. And then she writes that after seeing glaring instances of absolute callousness displayed by the residents of Chennai in their everyday life, example, the majority of the educated masses jumping the red light at traffic signals when scores of old people and young school children are desperately trying to cross the road. The above sentiment resonated more poignantly within me, but one really wonders, where has gone the true patriotism, the patriotism which sounds like that quiet inner voice gently whispering to us to just feel for the nation and its people? Since I have to travel almost every day on the Chennai roads and see careless, reckless drivers with no sense of concern for others on the road, it has set me thinking really hard on two questions. Where does this apathy come from? How to bring about a change in this attitude in what Americans consider basic courtesy and which people here truly ignore. And she adds, please note that I'm talking about the educated masses as a first round that needs to be reformed. These are people who know traffic rules, have learned them at school as a part of their education, taken part in at least one traffic class, have loved ones at home who will miss them if something happens to them, etc.
Thanks. Yes, first thought I have there is about patriotism, which it sounds like this person is thinking of as the sense of community and oneness with other people. Unfortunately, it's derived from the Latin word for country. And once you have country, you have another country, and consequently, you're going to be opening, once you have patriotism, you're opening the door to wars and violence and territorial claims and all the other things that we have seen throughout history. So I think we have to change the notion from you want to treat people correctly, not because they're part of your country, but because they're people like you and me. And so once you say, well, once you see people as essentially just like you yourself, then a lot of the puzzles that people have about reactions toward others go away. For example, when you finally see the other people in your life as if they were your brothers, people you really care about, then why would you ever do anything if you wouldn't treat the people you love in the way that you're treating these people that you don't know? Then there's something wrong. So in terms of using violence, in terms of being uncaring to them, you mentioned in the question about these children and so forth that are at risk when the people are speeding. Well, would they do that if it was their own children or children of another member of the family? Of course they wouldn't. So the real issue, and this is of course something that many people have talked about over the ages, you have to treat other people as if they were your brother, your sister, even yourself, and you get the proper attitude for it.
How do we bring about this change of consciousness?
Well, there are many paths to it. We had the Dalai Lama talking recently, and he sees many different paths to it. You might get it from religion. You might get it from certain religions that have very strong beliefs about compassion for others and treating all men as brothers and so forth. You might treat it from others that believe in meditation until you finally get an understanding of why everything is the way it is and how it could be different. Or you might get it from just everyday life when you notice that there are people who care about you and you about them. Well, why wouldn't you extend that to everyone if you possibly could? I mean, it's hard to say that, you mentioned apathy, but that's, if you look at the scales of human uh, uh, potential, apathy is a less alive scale than even hate. In other words, it takes much more energy to hate than it does to be apathetic. So when you're apathetic, you're really asleep or unaware, and that's a pretty dangerous state to be in for many different reasons. Because of course, if you're not really looking out for these other people, then you may not be looking out for yourself. So being aware of everything that's going on, the danger to yourself, the danger to others, the advantages to yourself, then that's a much better situation than to be apathetic.